Hi everybody, Kat here. Welcome to the channel. It is Sunday morning and I just want to talk about today a few things that I've been seeing in the press that have direct correlation to the things I've been saying for over a year now, and I just think it's very interesting how the narrative is slowly shifting and leads me to believe more that I'm right, about a lot of things. Well, here's the gist of it, okay? Lately, we've been, really since the Queen died, we have seen William step up as kind of the de facto leader of the family, despite the King's position. It was William that got everybody together and on the plane and up to Balmoral. It was William that wouldn't wait around for Harry, the whole argument. Meghan wanted to come and she was denied, and because nobody wanted her there. It wasn't her place to be there. But, so they were delayed, so they had to come up on their own, or Harry had to come up on his own plane. From that minute, from the Queen's death on, we've really seen William try to take control of the situation, and I do believe there's been friction between him and his father, the King, as well. Like, we see in the press all the time, even though Charles would be willing to extend an olive branch and heal things with Harry, we're seeing things like, he's trying to urge Harry to get a London home, to come back to Great Britain. These kind of things. Are they maybe setting us up for something in the future? But despite this, then you also get reports of, William is dead set against Harry ever having any kind of a role ever again, let alone Meghan. Like he's done. They're done. Now, the interesting thing about this, that is not what Charles would want. But, and I've said before, I think that William is starting to exert his power. And not unlike in the past, I mean, there's lots of stories out now and evidence and royal reporters even talking about it. When the Queen was alive, there was a time that Andrew was putting pressure on the Queen to cut Charles, his brother, out of the line of succession, and that he should be regent before William became of age, because of the whole Charles and Camilla scandal at the time, and really his popularity was very low. I don't know as low as Andrew's is now, but it was plummeting. It was the Diana years and the way Charles behaved, So, yeah, there was a time when Andrew was pushing the Queen, trying to pressure the Queen to make him regent and bypass Charles. Just as we've seen Charles, it's come out now, in certain things, was pressuring the Queen, especially, I mean, if you look at it, even to a couple of years, 3 years before she died, the Queen wouldn't even allow Camilla to sit in at weddings that they were going to be attending. I think it was the Duke of Westminster or something, and anyway, so yeah, the Queen was going to be there, and Charles and Camilla were invited. Now, the thing was, if they went, though, because of royal protocol, and this was before Camilla's status had been completely rehabilitated, the Queen had not yet made these kind of statements that she did later on. So, yeah, and at the wedding, so then Charles was going to be sitting with the royal family and, you know, that up front. And Camilla would have to be off to the side on the other side of the cathedral because she did not have that status, you know, a divorced woman, having an affair with the king, and it was all very tawdry, even just a few years ago. And the Queen, of course, being the head of the church as well, couldn't condone these kinds of things. And she from the get-go never thought Camilla was worthy of the position of either Princess of Wales. She didn't think Camilla had any business, any role in the royal family. Now, Charles pushed and pushed and pushed for years. And just as we talk about Harry pushing the Queen, you know, in the last few years of her life and putting pressure on her, so was Andrew, you know, to sort out his money problems. And she fronted him money for the chalet. She fronted him money to pay off Virginia Duffrey. She fronted him money for, you know, it's never ending. And he got the deal from the Queen for the whole Royal Lodge thing, 70-year lease and stuff. And I contend that if the king wanted him out, the king could get him out. You know, no matter what the lease says, right? Because the Queen is no more. But anyway, that's a side note. My point is that down through the generations, Harry's not the only one. Harry and Meghan are not the only ones trying to put undue pressure on the monarch to get their own way. They've all done it. They are all, if you're not the monarch, you're down here. This is just how the hierarchy works. And only the next in line, the heir to the throne, really has any importance in the whole operation. We've seen that by the way they treat them and everything. And, you know, spare, well, yeah, Harry. It's generational. It's just the way those things go. And he was a weak person to begin with. So he didn't fare well. But they've all done it. They've all tried to make a power play. They've all tried to overthrow the monarch in their own way. And we're seeing Harry and Meghan making all kinds of trouble all the time. Meghan, now we're seeing in the press, oh, she's making demands. She wants to see the king. She's, you know, sources are saying that she's very angry. She blames him and his jam for the failure of American Riviera Orchard to ever get off the... But there's nothing. She's got a website with a landing page, collects your address. There's nothing to buy. There's nothing to feature. She hasn't written an article telling you what's happening. There's no launch. There, you know, it's just ridiculous. But of course, for her failure, now she's blaming the king. Because, of course, Highgrove Duchy originals from the Duchy of Cornwall, all of the royal residences are working farms. They are, whether it's livestock or produce or honey, beekeeping, you know. They're working farms. And they sell off these products, which the money goes back into the upkeep of the estates and things. So, this has been going on for decades. It's not like he's, oh, Meghan's doing jam, I can't let her do that, I better sabotage her. Nothing of the sort. I mean, this kind of stuff is ridiculous. But they blame him for it. They're still bucking for apologies. What you see in the press these days is that Harry is yearning to come home. Charles wants him home. Is there a divorce in the oven? What will Meghan do? And this is all window dressing and speculation just to keep you off topic. What you're not seeing, and what I've said all along, they're alluding to, is William has made his power play, even with his wife in the background and kind of out of commission at the minute for public appearances. You've got William exerting his power, and he learned at the seat of the Queen and Prince Philip when he was in Eton, which is just like over the bridge from Windsor. He used to spend weekends. He used to go for lunch on Sundays with the Queen and Prince Philip at Windsor. And of course, they talked to him. They mentored him all along. And the situation we're in now, Harry and Meghan, I would contend that's a traitor in the midst. Look at the way Harry's behaved. Look at the things he's done to undermine the royal family. He has no business ever coming back. The things that Harry and Meghan have gotten up to, there's a lot of it that you could say might even be illegal, and with further investigation perhaps. Although, would anything ever happen to them? That's doubtless because of their titles and their position. I mean, you know, in the eyes of the world, really, once a royal, always a royal. He'll always have a certain level of deference wherever he goes. And Meghan, by osmosis, just by being his spouse, gets it too. And she revels in this. She wants to be the Duchess. She'd love to be the Queen. I mean, they talk about how horrible and, you know, the whole institution and Harry growing up in an institution. But I tell you, if they had half a chance of grabbing that throne, they would do it. And I wouldn't put it past them, because that's the kind of people that they are. And this is the kind of threat that William is up against. He's got a weak king and an outside threat. And what's he going to do? Well, I'll tell you. The Queen taught him everything he knows. Prince Philip taught him everything he knows. Starting a few years ago, about 5 years ago, we heard tell of William now kind of being introduced to the kind of work that MI5 and MI6 do. At the time, Her Majesty's Secret Service, the spies, the ones that, you know, protect the crown. It's like the FBI or CIA. Everybody's got files on everybody, so they damn well know what Meghan Markle's been up to. They know her past. But now what do you do with it? Well, since before Diana came on the scene, the palace had one protocol called the Way Ahead Group. I think they developed it in the 70s as a way to come together a couple of times a year and discuss kind of the direction of the royal family, the monarchy, the business of it all for over the next year, right? They'd meet a couple times a year. Now, it was the principal royals, the counselors of state, and a couple of people from the Secret Service to let them know what things were going on and so on and so forth. And I just find it really interesting. If you really look at the research, there was an emergency meeting of the Way Ahead Group in April. No, it was in May, 97. It wasn't supposed to happen. There wasn't supposed to be a meeting till the fall. They had a special meeting. And isn't it interesting that one of the biggest threats to Charles, to the monarchy, just conveniently died in a car crash. Good grief. Her death couldn't have been more timely, convenient for Charles and for the monarchy itself. And you hate to be cynical, but I've done a lot of research on this, and I would go so far to say that I can't name who actually set the plan in motion, although I have a pretty good idea of how it worked. I'll tell you in a minute. You see, at the time, the conditions around her death, what happened, the car and all of that, and, you know, the way it was covered up and what happened after, I mean, that's just like this Trump thing. That's how conspiracy theories are born, because you know what they're telling you is not what really happened. And you dig a little deeper and you see the cover-up, and so you got to get to the bottom of it. Well, as it turns out, the way that Diana's crash happened in a tunnel, da-da-da, and drink drive, all those things, the scenario of the actions that night mirror exactly a plan that the MI5 had in place to try to take out Ceausescu at the time, a terrible, terrible dictator, in a car like that. Well, in a car, in a tunnel, you know. They never used those plans, but they were tabled. And this information I'm telling you was gotten from a former MI5 or MI6 employee that was interviewed regarding the whole Diana thing, you know, in the course of investigators trying to figure out what went on. So they've done it before. Could they do it again? Are Harry and Meghan enough of a threat to do it again? William is now the enforcer of the family. William has regular meetings with MI5. William is hard set on never allowing Harry back into the fold again. William is working behind the scenes to overtake his father's reign, perhaps before his father's ready. Finished, you know. That's what I've been saying all along. I think William is going to push Charles out, and there's enough ammunition now to force him out between the scandals, that money for honors thing. Isn't that funny how that went away when he became king? But anyway, there's public dissent over the way that Charles has just, you know, had a lead foot in dealing with Harry and Meghan. People are quite upset, you know. There's even calls in the government to strip them of their titles. Charles could do any of these things with a stroke of a pen in 6 minutes. It doesn't require acts of this or that, or honest to God. I've been telling you all along, a lot of that is theater to keep up the illusion that the royal family is nothing more than a figurehead and good for tourism. Not so, not so. But anyway, I think we're going to see some events. I think we're going to see some events. I don't think things are going to get any better for Harry and Meghan. I don't think so. Their popularity's plummeted. Their reputation's in the toilet. I mean, Pat Tillman, all these other bought awards. Meghan's constant moaning, and now the royal family, not only are they racist, but, you know, the jam wars, my God, it never ends with this woman. Of course, we've got the invisible children and hokey documents that, you know, aren't legitimate at all. That story's wide open. There's a lot there. There's a lot there to undermine Charles's reign. And I think it's coming to a head. And I think we're already seeing, like I've said before, I think we're seeing William starting to make his moves. And I don't think, and cancer aside, because when I started talking about this, it was a year before Charles was ever diagnosed with cancer. Cancer aside, I think he's maybe got a year left before he steps away. That's just what I think. I think we've got, you know, Big Willie is wielding a big stick. You know, the enforcers, he's taken his place now. And I think we're going to see some rapid movements towards William taking control of the whole thing. That's just what I think. I could be wrong. I've been thinking this for a couple of years, but really, history is kind of on my side. Things are looking in that direction, aren't they? Go back and look at the King Charles III videos I've done, his life imitating art. That'll give you a bit of a background of what we all talked about today, and maybe give you a deeper understanding of what I see going on. Have a great day, everybody. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment. I want to know what you're thinking, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.